It is June 10, 1990. British Airways Flight 530 Century, a BAC 111, prepares to depart Birmingham for Malaga. Captain Tim Lancaster and First Officer Alastair Atchison anticipate a routine holiday flight on this quiet, calm Sunday morning. The aircraft takes off smoothly at 7:20 Sambal time local time. 81 passengers and 6 crew members are on board. The climb is perfectly normal as they soar confidently through the scattered clouds above the English countryside. Cabin crew are released from their seats to prepare the breakfast service. Lancaster and Atchison unfasten their shoulder harnesses. The flight is cruising at 17,300 feet over Oxfordshire, with everything proceeding exactly according to standard operating procedures. Suddenly, a loud bang shatters the cockpit silence. The left windscreen completely blows out. A massive explosive decompression instantly rips through the flight deck, turning the calm cockpit into a violently freezing, chaotic, and terrifying wind tunnel. The violently rushing air forcefully pulls Captain Lancaster right out of his seat. He is sucked headfirst through the missing window frame. His knees catch onto the flight controls, leaving his upper body entirely outside the aircraft. The flight deck door blows inward onto the navigation and radio consoles. Flight attendant Nigel Ogden, who was just entering the cockpit, sees the captain disappearing outside and lunges forward in a desperate bid to save him. Ogden manages to grab Lancaster's belt just as the captain is completely slipping away. Outside, the freezing winds violently batter Lancaster's body against the fuselage at over 400 miles per hour in perilously thin and frigid air. First Officer Atchison struggles to control the violently diving aircraft. The autopilot has disengaged because Lancaster's legs are jamming the control column forward. The plane goes into a steep, terrifying descent through one of the busiest airspaces. Deafening wind noise makes communication nearly impossible. Papers, debris, and flight manuals swirl frantically around the cockpit. Atchison furiously tries to regain control, struggling against massive aerodynamic forces and severely compromised flight controls. Mayday, 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 this is B-Bird 530-90, Atchison broadcasts. Because of the roaring wind, London Air Traffic Control struggles to hear the distress call. Atchison repeats his desperate plea, fighting to keep the plummeting aircraft safely airborne. ATSA finally copies the transmission. Speedbird 590-60 Sunday, London Center, roger your mayday. What is your emergency? Atchison struggles to reply. We have had a rapid decompression. I have lost my captain. He has been sucked out. Controllers on the ground are absolutely stunned. Despite the disbelief, they immediately clear the airspace around the descending BAC 111. Speedbird 590-4090, you are cleared to descend to flight level 100, the controller urgently replies. Atchison must descend quickly to reach breathable air and prevent passengers from suffering hypoxia. He initiates an emergency descent, diving the aircraft towards 10,000 feet while continuing to battle the jammed control column and extreme cockpit chaos. Inside the cockpit, Ogden is losing his grip. The freezing temperatures are causing extreme frostbite on his hands. I'm losing him! Ogden screams over the deafening wind. Another flight attendant, John Heward, rushes in to grab him. Lancaster's head is repeatedly striking the side of the fuselage. The crew inside believes he is already dead due to the sheer violence of the wind and lack of oxygen, but they refuse to let his body go. If they release Lancaster, they fear his body might be ingested into the left engine, which would cause a catastrophic engine failure and doom the entire aircraft. They hold on with every ounce of remaining strength. Reaching 10,000 feet, Atchison finally slows the aircraft to 17 knots, reducing the horrific wind pressure. He reestablishes clear contact with ATS Speedbird 590-SIC, requests radar vectors to the nearest available runway. He demands through the radio. Speedbird 590-30A Southampton is your closest airfield. Turn right heading 180, Atchison instructs. Atchison faces a massive challenge. He has never landed at Southampton, and he does not have the approach charts readily available. Despite flying completely blind without the necessary approach plates, Atchison heavily relies on the controller's precise guidance. Southampton Tower, Speedbird 530-9050 is on approach. Emergency aircraft, Atchison transmits, preparing the battered plane for an incredibly tense landing. The physical toll is immense. Ogden is completely exhausted, bleeding, and severely frostbitten. Yet, the brave cabin crew members rotate holding onto the captain's legs, keeping him anchored while Atchison wrestles the heavy, uncooperative aircraft towards the runway. Southampton Airport clears all runways and scrambles emergency services. Fire engines and ambulances line the tarmac, their sirens wailing. Speedbird 590-Sendy, you are clear to land runway 20, wind is calm, the Southampton Tower controller announces. With remarkable skill and absolute precision under unimaginable pressure, First Officer Atchison guides the BAC 111 down. The main gear touches down smoothly on the Southampton runway, a miraculous safe landing after an utterly catastrophic mid-air emergency. As the plane completely stops on the runway, emergency crews rush to the nose of the aircraft. To everyone's absolute shock and amazement, Captain Tim Lancaster is found alive, breathing despite massive bruising, shock, and severe frostbite. The subsequent investigation revealed a terrifying maintenance error. The windshield had been replaced just hours before the flight. However, the mechanic had used bolts that were a fraction of an inch too small, unable to withstand cabin pressurization. This incredible incident fundamentally transformed aviation maintenance protocols worldwide. Lancaster returned to flying just 5 months later. The heroism of Atchison, Ogden, and the entire crew of Flight 500-900 remains one of aviation's most legendary tales of survival.